Magandang araw sa lahat. Hangad natin sa programa ng NCCA PSEP na pagkalooban kayo ng mga material na makabuluhan na magagamit natin sa ating pagtuturo at sa ating pag-aaral. Layunin ng Kabaro program ng NCCA PSEP na pagkalooban kayo ng mga material na makapagpapaunlad sa katauhan ng bawat individual na Pilipino. Pag-uusapan natin ang mahalagang role ng babae, ng lalaki, ng bakla, ng tomboy, at ng iba pang mga kinikilalang gender dito sa daigdig. Bahagi ang Kabaro program ng NCCA PSEP sa isinusulong na GAD program bawat taon. Tunghayan po natin ang ating panayam sa ating mga mahuhusay na mga resource speakers.
Sansalain natin. Ito ang sinabi ni Mami Janisha against transgender people, particularly transgender women. So sabi nga niya tingnan mo mga bakla, kainom ng pills, hindi na bagay inumin ng mga bakla kasi lalaki sila. Ginawa sila ng Diyos na lalaki. Umiinom talaga sila ng pills para magsilaki ang dede. Bawal yan. And to translate it to English, look at gay men. They take pills which are not fit for them because they are men. God made them men. They take pills to enlarge their breasts. That's prohibited. Ika nga ni Mami Junisha. And of course, we would like to contradict this claim of not just Mami Junisha, but all the other misinformed people, in particular Filipinos, who do not really understand the experience of transgender people, not just transgender Filipinos, but transgender people in general. So, pag sansalain natin itong paragraph na ito, just looking at this, some of the things that we have to change or some of the things that we have to challenge is, una, ang gay man is not necessarily a transgender woman. So, iba ang trans woman sa gay man. Iba rin ang trans man or trans mask or trans masculine sa tomboy. So, we cannot expect gay men and trans women to be very similar and trans masculine or trans men and tomboy to be similar kasi magkaiba. Pangalawa, we cannot impose our particular faith or our particular religion on other people. So if the Philippines is a predominantly Catholic and let's say predominantly Christian society, the claim that God made them men is not for everyone to accept. And lastly, yung sa statement niya that says, where she said that yung paggamit ng pills nakaka-enlarge ng breasts, it's not just about enlarging the breasts or wanting to have enlarged breasts that trans women take hormones. May tinatawag kaming transition or transitioning. So we can medically and socially and legally transition. So ang kaya namin gawin in the Philippines would be to medically transition. But this is not usually medically supervised. And another is social transition. Hindi lang namin magawa yung mga legal transition because we do not have legal gender recognition. May karapatan ang mga LGBTQI people to their bodies. We have the right to our bodies. We should have the right to our bodies. We should have the right to self-determination and self-identification. So hopefully, with those contentions, we're nasansala natin, if I'm using that word correctly, itong claim ni Mami Janisha. But we would not want our lives to be dictated by a mother of a boxer. She may be relevant to some people, but she may not be relevant to everyone. And maybe she's also misinformed and she doesn't know the trans experience. So let me just briefly define ano nga ba yung mga trans experience na hindi naiintindihan ng nakararami. So in other words, sex is between our legs and gender is between our ears. What we were assigned with at birth, kung anong inassign sa atin sa birth, sa ating kapanganakan, kung boy, girl, or kung meron tayong intersex condition, will not necessarily determine our gender identity when we can determine our gender identity. And it will not automatically dictate what our gender expression will be. And it will also be different from our sexual orientation. That's why may tinatawag tayong SOGI or SOGI or the longer form SOGI-SC or SOGI-SC. Di ba may pending or nakabinbin na SOGI Equality Bill. So SOGI or SOGI stands for sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics. So this is not just for LGBTQI people. It's for everyone because lahat ng tao ay may SOGI or may SOGI. Lahat tayo may sexual orientation. You can be asexual, you can be aromantic, that's your romantic orientation, aromantic. But your sexual orientation is asexual. Ganyan. You can be bisexual, biromantic, you can be panromantic, pansexual, you can be heterosexual, you can be homosexual. These are sexual orientations. In gender identity naman is you are cisgender or transgender or kung ano yung cultural notations ng gender, 'di ba? In a given time and place. So pag sinabing transgender like me, I identify as a woman. I also identify as a transgender woman. It means I was assigned male at birth, but I identify and I present myself. I live as a woman, or I live as a woman and as a trans woman. That's gender identity. My gender expression may match my gender identity. So it means gender expression, yung external manifestation of gender. I can be feminine, I can be masculine, I can be androgynous. Yun. But let me also give a cultural perspective of gender. And these are just very few examples out there. So in different parts of the world, madaming terms that can capture gender, right? In particular, non-normative gender. Ngayon, ang tawag natin non-normative. But gender has not really been just normative. It has been a spectrum. It's always been non-binary. At least in pre-colonial empires or in pre-colonial times, before the colonial genocide and colonial empires, we have always celebrated gender diversity and inclusivity in different societies. Like sa First Nations people, the original Americans or the real Americans, they have the First Nations, Second Nations, Third Nations people, diba? Or sometimes you collectively call them Native Americans. But depending on the nomenclature, you have the Two-Spirit people within different First Nations or different nations. So pag sinabing Two-Spirit, it used to be called Berdache until 1990. It's like a collective term for those that have a masculine and feminine spirit. They're usually like medical healers or healers, spiritual healers in their communities. They're also wise, they're counsels to their community leaders. They exist up until now. So they have been around for maybe hundreds, thousands of years. In Mexico naman, there's a region in Oaxaca where we have the Moshe. The Moshe don't identify automatically as women. They see themselves as Moshe, third gender. They tend to prefer caregiving roles in their families or domestic work. And every November, they have ritual or a festivity called the Vela de Moshe. Yan. Among the Samoan people, you have the Fa'afafine. Fa'afafine is a term that usually describes third gender people in Samoa. Usually they're feminine. They usually tend to put on flowers on their heads. Ganyan. Tapos they wear the traditional Samoan dresses or costumes. They also, just like the Moshe, prefer domestic work or domestic life, caregiving. And it's believed that may mga Fa'afafine na who were born to automatically become Fa'afafine, and the others, in some cases, pag let's say all boys, yung ano, or majority were boys in the sa brood ng mga anak, the youngest or one of them will be turned into Fa'afafine. That's an assumption. Yun. Fa'afafine have always been around and part of Samoan culture. In Tonga naman, they have the Fa'akaleti or Leti, simply Leti. And in Australia, you have the sister girls and the brother boys, among other indigenous groups who we could simply refer to as trans in this day and age. Sa Indonesia, you have waria, one of the terms to refer to transgender women. However, it is a combination of two Indonesian words, wanita, which means woman, and priya, which means man. So there are some waria that reject this label because they don't see themselves as a combination of man and woman. They see themselves only as women. So they don't like the term waria in some cases. They prefer the English version, which is transgender woman. Also in Indonesia, in particular sa Sulawesi, South Sulawesi, you have the Bugis tribe. It's a tribe, and it's been around for hundreds, maybe thousands of years. The Bugis celebrate five gender system: Makunray, Orwane, Chalabay, Chalalay, and Bisu. So that means cisgender man, cisgender woman, transgender man, transgender or masculine, transgender feminine, or transgender woman, and the Bisu. So the Bisu could be like the androgynous, the middle sex, potentially she's trans or and intersex at the same time. So it can be, as long as their community acknowledges the Bisu. The Bisu is the one that is ascended or and transcended to the role of a high priestess, parang shaman. Sila yung similar sa, yung Bisu are similar to our babaylan. Speaking of, in the Philippines, in pre-colonial times, so before before the Spanish came to the Philippines, I mean, like, I'm not the historical expert. My audience here, kayo ang karamihan sa inyo ang mga historians, and you would know that babaylans, well, babaylan could be like a collective term or an umbrella term, and ang dami pang mga terminologies that can capture, di ba, the babaylan in different parts of our archipelago. They have been around for many years. Ano yung many? I don't know the historical accuracy, maybe hundreds and thousands of years, even before the arrival of the Spanish or before the secession of the Philippines to Spain. And we know that we have never been Christian as a society before the Spanish enforced it to us. And animist ang Philippine society for many years, just like many other societies, not just in Southeast Asia or Asia, but in many other parts of the world. And ito yung mga images ng ilan sa mga captured images that portray the babaylan. Katulad ditong background ng aking recording, which is Carlos Botong Francisco's mural. Yan. And you have here some more of the last images of known babaylans. So may mga terms tayong ginagamit to refer to the babaylan, right? In different parts of the country, like asog or bayog, usually like the male babaylan, and Catalonan, Mumbaki, Aplogan, and then among the Teduray people, you have the Mentufewalay. Yan. So, and because we have about 160 to 170 languages, we have 7,700 more or less islands, diba? And may madami pang mga terms, or expressions that capture who the babaylan is. So babaylans are usually women. If not, they are also men. And in many cases, or in most cases, if not all cases, these men happen to be, as they were described, queer. So they could be trans, they could be gay, they could be non-binary, and they could be intersex in today's language. But in short, if you're a woman or if you're a queer man, you're you're queer, then um, you could potentially become a babaylan, but you don't automatically become a babaylan. So the rites to passage of a babaylan is a very sacred path, So hindi yan automatic. You don't just declare, you don't just claim, and it is a sacred aspect of our history. So when Catholicism and Christianity has been embraced by Philippine society, in the process they try to also decimate, if maybe if that's the right word, marginalize, to made invisible the culture of babaylanism in the Philippines. But it has survived, it's always been there. Maybe some would claim that there's a resurgence or a renaissance to the babaylan, a return to the babaylan. Yan. But I use the babaylan as reference because it is important for us to be reminded dun sa statement ni Mami Junisha na ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng God made, 'di ba? That God made us man, God made us woman. Yan. So to me, our depending on what your faith is, how you label it, um, we have the right to self-determination. If your body is a body that you don't recognize, uh, we have the right to change that body because it's our body in the end. So if we know na alam natin na hindi tayo naaangkop doon sa katawang lalaki, di ba? Yung kung katawang lupa mo ay lalaki, then you can transition your body. You have the right to do that. And the way that people weaponize their faith against others, so we lose our right to self-determination and self-identification, I think that itself is a problem. Being trans has always been part of our society. So earlier we talked about yung transness in pre-colonial times, and it's been difficult during the Spanish and the American colonial period because parang broken era siya, no, ng trans and queer life in the Philippines, because the documentations have become quite difficult during this time because maybe some of the records have been burnt, 'di ba, sinunog, or maybe they were inaccessible. But we know that LGBTQI Filipinos have continued to exist, even in pocket existence. So in post-World War II Philippines, nagkaroon ng ng underground subculture, queer and trans subculture sa Pilipinas. Like there have been beauty pageants, there have been drag performances, and then there have been trans women and other queer men who engaged in sex work. And the notable examples for those of us from a certain age, we've heard of the stories of Walterina Markova, right? Walterina Markova's story has been documented in film and starred the late comedy king Dolphy. And if we can assume, Walterina Markova may have been a transgender woman. So I think she engaged in pageants, she engaged in performance, and she said that she has been forced to do sex work. She's been a trigger warning for the usage of the word rape by soldiers, may they be American and or Japanese soldiers. And it's not just Markova, but many other trans women have experienced that, experienced sexual and physical violence in society because simply of being trans. In terms of culture, pageantry has been a constant in trans and queer subculture in the Philippines, as well as drag performance. So we have here the early images of the paper dolls, one of the first known drag, trans, and queer collective in the Philippines. Yan. As far as I remember, sila Henry Calayag, sila Fanny Serrano were part of this elite group, chances are most of them were trans, if not some of them were trans. But we didn't really use the English label na trans or transgender noon, bihira. 'Di ba? Ang madalas pang natin marinig would be transsexual, and ang normal connotation pa nun ay isang bakla na nag-Japan tapos nagpunta sa Thailand para magpa-surgery or somewhere else and then pokean na siya. Ika nga, di ba? Yeah. So it wouldn't be until the late 90s or early 2000s that we have been using the word transgender to have a separate discussion on the greater bakla discourse. So the bakla discourse is a wide discourse, 'di ba? So madaming identities sa kabaklaan, madaming aspects sa kabaklaan, but one of them is being trans. Yeah. So beauty pageant culture is a very rich subculture in the Philippines. It's very fascinating. I've engaged in it. Nagiging bread and butter ito ng nakararaming mga trans Pinay or mga trans Filipinas. Madaming nakapagpaaral at patapos ng mga kapatid at mga pamangkin nila or anak-anakan because of this. And this is one aspect or one pathway towards trans visibility in the Philippines. So yung sa kiniklaim ni Mami D about pills, what are the practical implications of transitioning? Well, mahal man ang pag-transition, I'm just using the US dollars here as a ballpark figure, in some cases, pag hindi ka malibre sa iyong transition. But libre ang pagrespeto sa choices ng mga trans people. So we do not need the approval of Mami Dionisha or anybody else for that matter for us to transition if we want to transition. By the way, not all trans people transition. So not all trans people automatically understand what transition means. But if we go through stages whereby nagsistart kaming baguhin yung pangalan namin, meron kaming mga alias or nicknames, that becomes our lived name. And then some of us start taking hormones kahit na under the radar, hindi siya medically supervised, that's like medical transitioning. Some of us start wearing women's clothes at some point, some of us continue to wear women's clothes, some of us move to other countries where we can change our names legally, that's legal transitioning. So not all trans people transition the same way. Gender affirming is safe, it's evidence-based, and it's life-saving. So may mga studies na recently on gender affirming care that includes transitioning, hormone therapy, puberty blockers, but that's harder for the Philippines because you need to have doctors, particularly endocrinologists, who can work on puberty blocker needs, of young transgender Filipinos. Facial top and bottom surgery. So yung sinasabi ni Mami D na magmumukhang babae. But it's a subjective sense of a trans person, di ba? So if gusto na isang trans woman or trans Pinay na ito yung idea niya ng pagiging babae, yung shape ng face, yung haba ng face, yung size ng ilong, ganyan yung mata, and other features, we have the right, to define that for ourselves. And the next problem is, can we afford, our transition, our medical or physical transition? Hormones can be available over the market, over the years. Over the years, there are many trans people, trans women and some trans men that buy their hormones over the counter. But now it's not as easy. So we don't recommend you buy over the counter. You have to see the doctor. So ideally, you have to go to agencies that assist in gender affirming care, like Love Yourself. Meron si Love Yourself Victoria, Love Yourself. You can also approach LGBTQI support organizations. Like in the Philippines, we have STRAP, the Society of Trans Pinays or Society of Trans Women of the Philippines. And they can guide you on great, easy, affordable processes of gender affirming care. For trans masculine people, they sometimes also need to go to doctors for prescriptions on injectable testosterone, like Depo testosterone. Some of them are able to have or undergo top surgery, so breast reduction or breast mass removal, etc. So there are some experiences of trans Pinays in my research project that show barriers to accessing hormone therapy. Like in Trisha, not her real name, not their real name. Trisha said, I don't know about medical supervision. It is scary because they might uh, they might subject you to various laboratory tests. Plus, nobody told us about the word transitioning. So I know about hormones and optional surgeries. Bottom line, if we can get it over the counter, why go to the doctor? So that's why I think there have been this denial, of medical supervision in the trans community because it's quite unaffordable for economic reasons. And others naman because they feel that they don't easily find doctors who are trans friendly, or who can provide gender affirming care. Ayan. So I think we have to encourage now. I believe there are trans friendly doctors and there are pathways towards gender affirming care. Silicone injections can be very difficult, can also be very dangerous because pag hindi doctor, pag hindi talaga licensed medical expert, yung administer, you might have the wrong materials. And if you watch past features on TV, like yung si Kate, kapuso mo, Jessica Soho, she's featured a couple of times, her show has featured a couple of times, mga botched silicone injections of some trans people. Yeah, and I can go on and on, about this topic, but the point is, trans people exist, trans Pinays, trans Pinoys, trans masculine, trans feminine, trans women, trans man, transgender, transgender man, transgender woman, whatever the term is, or even the greater identity of bakla and tomboy. We are part of Philippine society where we have a community, we're part of greater communities. Many of us are taxpayers. Many of us are in the industry, in the performance industry. Many of us are academics, doctors, lawyers, sex workers, etc. We deserve, as much right to live with respect and dignity. So we don't want someone like Mrs. Pacquiao, deciding for us what to do with our bodies. Our particular choices are different from other LGBTQI people. Gay men and trans women have different choices. Lesbians and trans masculine or trans men have different choices and different approaches to their bodies and to their lives. What is important is we make informed choices, and informed consent is important. So, me as an educator and a community activist, it's important that we reach out to these grassroots communities so that we can provide some education and guidance for them. Yun. So sana nasalansa ko yung topic o itong quote na ito ni Mami D. Maraming salamat.
Naway naliwanagan tayo sa mga usapin ng gender sa ating mga natunghayang video.